So I want to start out by making it clear that I'm going to keep my comments really on topic and continue to talk about education. I am a little disturbed at times that it seems that some of the discussion is going away from education and other things. But first off, when we're talking about school boards and collective bargaining acts, I have to say I find it really interesting that Mr. Chudley says that he thinks classrooms are redundant. If someone says classrooms are redundant, that says to me that he's actually saying teachers are redundant. And I think there are many teachers in this room, and there are many teachers who are working on my campaign who would take exception to that. Creating an environment for children in the classroom to be able to learn goes beyond just the information in books or that they get off a television set. Those teachers in that classroom are key. They are the conduits of information, and they create an environment in that classroom that are going to ensure that our children are not only learning, but are taken care of and are happy. We cannot move forward as a society if we don't understand the impact and importance of what happens in the classroom, and that is really the building blocks of our future. And so I find it really troubling that we are talking here at this table where it is becoming clear to me what the distinction between the PCs and the Liberals are. And I also find it disturbing that with the great track record that we have in investing in our schools and investing in the classroom, and yes, investing in our teachers, that people are actually finding ways to suggest that we are not. We now have invested more in schools in Halton in the history of governments in this province. And that didn't just happen. That came from a commitment that the people in the ministry and in government felt needed to happen. We wanted to make sure that our children got a head start, because frankly, governments aren't just here to take your taxes. We are here to ensure that we are a service to people. We provide a service and we move our society forward. We either care about our children and the future they have, or we take our money and put it in our back pockets. And this is a government, and the party that I am with is committed to ensuring that we are putting the money where it should be going, to the future of this province, my children and your children. Now, getting back to the collective bargaining question. Now, first of all, well, I had to address some of the things being said about education, which is what I was doing. When it comes to collective bargaining and the process, Kathleen Wynne recognized that the first round didn't go well when she was not actually at the helm. So she's made some adjustments to the process for education. As we all agree, teachers are the conduits to our children's education. It's important that we ensure that the bargaining process moves ahead. There will now be a more effective collective bargaining process with clearer roles and responsibilities and processes for our education partners. What that means is that the new process better recognizes the importance of the roles of provincial representatives being at the table. Government is the funder, and we should be there along with trustees associations who, as employers, and also with the Provincial Teachers Federation and support staff unions. What this is all about is creating an environment that is conducive to having conversations and talking with people. So much can be accomplished really if we just talk to each other. I have already heard today that conversations may not really be worthwhile. Frankly, I disagree. I think we can accomplish a lot if we talk to each other and not just sit in our silos. And on that note, I'm going to end my answer. Thank you.
Well, again, I'd like to say that it's not just all about spending money. It's about it's not just about setting up a consultation process. I think that there is a bit of again, I use the word zealous, an overzealous implementation by this current government to keep talking, to just keep talking. Let's keep talking about everything and set up another discussion and another discussion. Well, I think that teachers are tired of just talk, and they'd like to see some actual action by properly being respected in collective bargaining. Ontario's New Democrats were open to, of course, discussing options when dealing with labor relations in the education sector. But these discussions can't just be talk. They can't just be pro forma discussion. They have to be done by a government that actually respects educational workers, not as a prop or as another tool to get reelected. You know, the Liberals and the PCs, Progressive Conservatives, have both tried to undermine the rights of educational workers. And that's not fair. It's not right. It shouldn't be done. I think the first way that we can have successful outcomes for students is to have successful relationships with educational workers. We will make sure that there's a certain level of fairness that's upheld. Unilateral decisions, as the Liberals and PCs have made and would continue to do, don't show respect for educational workers. Educational workers can rest assured that I am on their side. This isn't about a party or any leader. This is about myself as your representative. You know, there's some members of our society, of our community, that sometimes slip into the denigration of educational workers. Oh, teachers, you know, they get all these days off, and you know, they get paid so well. Well, I don't think that's the case. Really, they get a bad rap, and you know, for that matter, educational assistants have it even worse in that respect. These governments that continue to denigrate workers, you know, there's a dialogue going on between them and some members of our society that does not treat teachers with respect on a fundamental basis. So I want to let the teachers here know and the educators here know that I was with them protesting TED on the day of action with ETFO. I was there at Maple Leaf Gardens during the Liberal Leadership Convention protesting Premier Wynne before she was Premier Wynne. But you know, I don't want to get off too much, but I think that it might be a good idea to just address Regulation 274. This might be something that might come up later on in the night. You teachers know what I'm talking about. This is a very important issue. We are open to discussing options when dealing with labor relations with the education sector. Again, but such discussions must be done by a government that respects workers. So we understand that those who graduate as teachers have difficulty finding a job, and we must address that issue. But we won't fix anything by simply revoking Regulation 274. This is the regulation surrounding seniority, as the Hudak Progressive Conservatives have proposed. Again, unilateral decisions, such as those suggested and those that would continue to be implemented by the Liberals and the Progressive Conservatives, don't show basic respect for educators. So that's my understanding of our relationship in terms of bargaining. And again, second part of the question, what would I do to ensure successful outcomes for students? That would be to show respect to those individuals that they share so much of the day with. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, getting past the next 2 years, in which there will be a public service wage freeze in place in Ontario, the Collective Bargaining Act would go forward. That wage freeze is essential to our recovery in Ontario. It saves $2 billion a year for each of 2 years. Without that huge balancing power of those dollars, we won't be able to balance the budget. We won't be able to go forward. You know, educating students is a goal of each and every one of us. Having them graduate and not have a job to go to seems redundant. We have to start creating jobs again in Ontario, and we can't do that with the economic situation that we have found ourselves in over the last 8 or 10 years. It has to be fixed. We have to become the economic engine of Canada that we once were, when jobs were plentiful, when growth was plentiful. Is that my 10 seconds? No? when growth was plentiful, and we could move forward knowing that we were Ontario, we were the heartland of Canada, and we created the kinds of prosperity in this province that Canadians came to expect. And that is gone. And without a recovery of that, our students will not have jobs. So I respect the Collective Bargaining Act. I think that our teachers are among the best educators in the world, make no mistake about that. They are wonderfully well trained. They're better trained than almost any other jurisdiction in North America. They are extremely talented. I believe that the vast majority of those teachers want to teach and educate their students to the very best of their ability. And I will work to ensure, as I have in the past and I will continue to do in the future, I will work to ensure that they have that unencumbered opportunity to do the job they do in the classroom. Somebody told me once that the loudest noise in the educational system is when the door to the classroom closes and the teacher is alone with her students. That's where education happens. A well-motivated teacher in a classroom with a group of kids, and we get excellent, excellent education in this province.